All right, back with the 30-minute movie review. So we did a little segment this last week. So we're reviewing a movie. We're going to tell you the goods, the bads, and hopefully you guys get out and watch them. If there are movies you want to hear us review, please leave those in the comments. Happy to review any movies you want. But for the first couple weeks, at least, we're going to do some movies that we want to do because we don't really care what you want. Who wants to go first?
Derek wants to go first.
The movie I chose for you two to watch was The Boondock Saints from 1999, starring Willem Dafoe, Sean Patrick Flannery, and Norman Reedus. I will have Steve do the good and Wes do the bad.
All right. Well, I'll start with the good. This is one of my favorite movies. And I will say, just start off, it's not my typical favorite. There are points where you're watching the movie and it's not slow because there's action, but the plot is not moving forward as much as you'd like it. But that doesn't has nothing to do with the quality of one, the script is excellent, right? The idea of the movie's great. So if you haven't seen the movie, I don't want to ruin it, but you have the kind of a vigilante justice thing happening. Willem Dafoe, not only does he play a great part, but he throws a wrench into the movie that makes it more than just an action shoot 'em up, beat 'em up type movie. And it's really a refreshing part he plays, but it's also a little weird, which also makes it a little more enticing. Um, Acting is top notch. Writing leaves a little bit to be desired, but still keeps you interested. And the friend that tells the jokes, like I have to put this in here because first of all, like this is Hollyisms number one. Always says it the wrong way, right? Like whatever the actual saying is, she's gonna get it wrong. And to have that guy in the movie, every joke, every saying he says, it's like says it absolutely wrong. It's great.
Is that Rocco?
Yeah, Rocco. And it's like you're talking about like screen doors sinking battleships and stuff. Like it's funny because it doesn't matter. It's always the opposite of the actual saying, right? I love the plot and the father in the plot, and how it comes back to the kids again. I don't want to ruin the whole movie, but the way they tie it together, it's well done, and it's not a movie that you'll be disappointed in watching. And there's parts of it that will make you laugh or make you wonder or even be like, this is great action. So they have a very good mix. And so I definitely recommend it movie. I've seen it 100 times because it's that good. So Wes, what are the bads?
I can't say a lot bad about the movie. I mean, it's loud,
It is loud.
very loud, very violent, lots of blood. Um, it's hard to understand sometimes. I had backup. I was half asleep though, but I had backup, and I was like, "What? What did that happen?"
Right.
The way it's hard to hear sometimes.
Because
Make
they're
it
speaking very low and there's a lot of
yeah, and
action. Yeah.
courtroom scene is just it's wild. I mean, it's just if they keep talking, it's like I get it. I get it. Just kill them, please. All right, let's get over with. And that's about it.
Yeah. What do you think about, because I don't want to, because I was obviously on the good, but what do you think about like those last scenes with Willem Dafoe where you got the music playing and he's shooting around, he's talking about he did this and he did that. Like, doesn't that get a little beyond? Like, you're like, come on.
Yeah, but again, I think that's the point of the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. This is the first time I've seen the movie. I don't
Oh,
know.
really? Okay.
I've never
That's
seen the movie,
great.
and so, but my guess is like they're over. It's an over dramatization to prove a point,
Right.
and that's what kind of the movie is. That's why I think a lot of people think it's great because it's like it's. I would call it satire. Would you call it? I mean, I don't know what you call it.
I mean, that's a pretty good, bold statement.
Yeah. Because if you take it seriously, you're going to hate the movie.
Right, right, right.
Like
Yeah.
like
You have to take it for what it is.
like if my school teacher friend watched it, she's like, I hate that movie. It's like you don't get it.
Well, it's definitely not a movie I'd have
It's not
Caitlin
a Hallmark movie. Sorry. This isn't a
Well,
Hallmark.
but on the opposite of that, Holly loves the movie.
Yeah.
So wives are different in those senses.
Yeah.
But yeah, the scene where he's handcuffed around the toilet, like that's a crazy scene. You know, when he knows like he's gonna die or his brother's gonna die, and he has to like the only chance you have is to like break the toilet when you're handcuffed around it, and he jumps off the building and crushes the dude. And then
Yeah.
the cops come in and he's like, it feels like there was a big crusher guy.
Yeah.
That's great. Like that's good stuff. You don't see that in a lot of movies. So that's a good one. That's a great one. So I'll go next. And so this was inspired, by Holly as well, but it is also a movie I really love. And so let's talk Almost Famous. So Wes, I'll give you the good since you had the bad last time, and then Derek, you can do the bad.
Um, I like the fact that the kid is he kind of he's going into this world of rock and roll stardom at such a time where there's just so much going on during that time when it comes to music, and it's like he was trying to fit in, and him being just a kid it's puts like like I mean he's always been looked at as like, oh yeah, you're too young for everything, right? Like his mom lied about his age, which I kind of so I haven't seen this movie in like 20 years probably. And so I forgot about it. I didn't know that her mom lied about his own age. Like he thought he was 12 years old and he was 11. And so right there, that kind of like, what's going on here? Why would you do that? And that just kind of sets the premise of the movie when he gets to be 15. He lies about his age again to Kate Hudson, Penny, of course. But it just stardom. It shows early because it's kind of slow in the beginning. It kind of sets up this idea of, is it the music or is it the stardom? And you see that right from the beginning. It's like there's these two worlds that he has to write about.
Right.
Is he writing about the music or is he writing about the fame? Are you writing about the parties and the girls and the groupies and the band-aids, which I thought that was I
Oh,
mean,
the Kate Hudson Band-Aid thing is great.
yeah, and at first you're just like, what is, okay, I get it. It's a little cliche. And then I think when my favorite part is the plane scene. That really, I mean, that's like, okay, we're all gonna die on the plane. I'm not gonna give it away, and we're gonna tell everybody our secrets and how we feel.
How many comedy skits has been done based on that premise?
Yeah, And then the pilot's like, "Hey, we're good, guys.
Yeah, we're good.
You, you know,
That's
um,
like the ultimate comedy scene premise, right? It's like
yeah,
you're going down on a plane, everybody can confess their last sins.
yeah." And the whole idea of Penny and her relationship um, with the guy she's in love with this guy that he not really he's not really she thinks of something that it's not there.
Right.
And William has to the beer scene. He's like William has to tell her like, look, you you don't go to New York. I'm telling you right now, you're stupid. And he's honest with her. And then
Yeah,
he's
but
like,
then
I'm gonna
she's
go.
like, "What kind of beer?"
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
That's
He's
such a
like, no,
great
no.
answer. Like when you really think about that, that's a really great answer.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I'm the dangerous one. He's the bad guy, right? Because he's the writer. He's the one that's gonna tell everybody the truth about, you know, hey, this is what it is, and everyone's kind of like pushing him in a direction like, oh, don't write that, right? Remember they're fighting,
Yeah.
and it was like, don't write that, and then he said, but write this, right? Um, and the ending, of course, is it's a pretty good twist. Um,
Yeah.
it
Well, I think I mean, you hit so many good of the topics there. So if you don't want to watch the movie after hearing that, like something wrong with you. But yeah, that whole, two sides and coming of age, and that's such a good plot. So, but there's always a bad. So there, give us the bad.
Well, I'll also interject this part too. It's kind of a true story.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Penny Lane Trumbull is real. She lives in Oregon. She lives in Portland.
Dude, the guy named Lester Bangs is real.
Yes.
Lester Bangs.
Um, but yes, and then the whole airplane part happened also. Cameron Crowe, because it's about Cameron Crowe when he was younger. He started out as a Rolling Stones writer.
Right.
And it was, over dramatized in the movie, but the whole airplane thing happened, and he said there was someone who like came out and said something, and then it was briefly, but not everyone got it. But I guess I didn't really care for Patrick Fugit as the main kid.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed Michael and Anargano as the little kid. He was great as playing the younger
Yeah,
version of him.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Um, and then, but it's very long
Really, really long.
and it's very slow in parts, but it's really good acting. So it's at catch 22. All of the Band-Aids girls are amazing. Like they are the ones like, Fairuza Balk and um
Kay Hudson.
yeah, no, and Anna Paquin
Oh, yeah, yeah.
and Bijou Phillips. Yeah, they all were great. And then even the part with Zoe Deschanel as the sister and Frances McDormand.
no,
I think that probably was my favorite scene in the movie was when Frances McDormand's talking to Billy Crudup's character on the phone.
Yeah, it is really good.
But yeah, I mean, besides it being really long, everything else was pretty good. I mean, there was other like because it was made in 2000. Like Eric Stone Street has a small part in that, way before he did Modern Family. And then like when you're watching it, it's like, oh yeah, it's like you're like, okay, yeah, I could see him actually being,
It's like a blast from the past.
yeah, it's like I could see him being big, like Jay Baruchel's part, and then Eric Swarsden. Nick Swardston, had a little part where he's like, "Oh my God, it's David Bowie." So,
Yeah, it's agreeable. I mean, overall, it's a hard take because it is a really good movie. And so it's definitely hard to pick holes in it. I mean, the length of the movie and the slowness at times, I think, is probably the hardest of that movie.
you have to be in the right mindset to watch it.
Right.
Have to.
It's a commitment. Like, you gotta be committed. But if you're committed, it's great. And it's worth the watch. And the question is can Gen Z watch a 3 hour movie?
Over like 3 or 4 days, probably.
Watch it in 10-minute segments.
10-minute segments. Overall, great movie. Worth watching. Good review.
Oh,
See you, Wes. Right when we were coming up to his movie review.
yeah. Something happened to his phone.
Well, chances are his charger died. But we have his movie, and you and I will be reviewing it. So we'll give him a few minutes here.
Yeah, but it was interesting. Yeah. So I looked up, yeah, Penny Lane Trumbull. She lives in Portland, Oregon. She's a philanthropist. So that was kind of cool. The people
Yeah.
like, oh, she's a real.
Yeah, I think there was multiple, right?
Well, yeah, the Billy character, what Billy Crudup's character was supposed to be after Glenn Fry from the Eagles.
Yeah.
And then, yeah,
And
like I
Cameron
think,
Crowe and
yeah,
Lester Bangs.
yeah.
So I mean, it was pretty cool in that sense. All right. Well, we don't necessarily need Wes for this part. I'll let you choose. Oh, there he is. Oh, you don't get to choose. Wes, we almost chose for you, but we'll let you introduce your movie and choose the good and the bad.
Well, um, okay. I say Steve does the good, Derek does the bad.
And the movie is Mission Impossible 2. So I'm doing the good, Derek's doing the bad.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, look, it's been a long time, and I think I've only seen that movie once before this time. So I just preface this for a second, and I get it for all of you people out there that don't necessarily like Tom Cruise. I love Tom Cruise as an actor. I think he's done a lot of great movies, and he plays plays the parts really well. Like he really invests into his parts. This one's a little more of a stretch. It's that Mission Impossible, that James Bond, that John Wick type character. They have to play it out, and it slows down the movie slightly when they're trying to build some of the story. But there's a ton of action, and action's great. I actually, it's funny because we was talking to Darius earlier, and he's like, "Oh, Caitlin said it's a love story. It is a love story in a sense, which I like. I like the fact that he was doing things, for a reason more than just the mission. I also really love, and this is weird, I love the how they brought in the masks, and playing different people. I think that's a cool twist to a movie. And I also think that's like you look at the one part where Tom Cruise grabs her when he tells her to escape, but it's really not Tom Cruise, and she goes back because she thought she was talking to him. Like that's a cool twist. Like those things make the movie exciting. And you don't know it unless you've seen it before, if that's the reasoning. So The action overall for me was top notch. There's enough action throughout the movie that will keep me interested the whole movie, and most of it is pretty good. So overall, definitely like the movie. Good plot, good story, semi good acting.
Okay, the bad. I will start off with the good is I did like the opening scene, the Doug Ray Scott scene at the beginning. I did like that, and I did like Anthony Hopkins acting and Thandie Newton's acting. But the movie for me is the worst of the Mission Impossible movies. It's like, yeah, the first time I watched it was so hard to get through, and then this time I'm like, okay, I got to do it. And it was so hard to get through again. It was so cheesy at the beginning, like when he's climbing or when the introduction of him. It kind of went away from the Mission Impossible movies. I mean, it didn't seem as like the first movie was so good, and then it was John Woo, it just got a huge John Woo imprint in it, not a Mission Impossible imprint. Um, but Thandie Newton was great in it, and then a little bit of Anthony Hopkins you get was great. But the biggest thing it did, and this guy is probably so pissed at this movie, it ruined Dougray Scott's career. He was in line. He was hired to be Wolverine, but he couldn't do it because he had to do Mission Impossible 2. It went over. And so he missed out on being Wolverine. And do we even know him anymore?
No, he has to be what Tom Cruise's double.
Yeah. So he missed out on becoming like Hugh Jackman should thank his lucky stars about Mission Impossible 2 because without Mission Impossible 2, Hugh Jackman would not be Wolverine.
Yeah, that's good. I actually really loved his part there. I think he did a good job. You know, so many good points there. Overall, the movie's good. It's good enough to watch. It kept me entertained. I didn't fall asleep. Like those are good things, right?
Right.
My biggest complaint, if I had to make a complaint about the movie, is you have all these mercenaries for hire. You have this great team of villains, right? Who do amazing things until it's time to shoot Tom Cruise, and then they can't hit the broadside of a barn.
Stormtroopers.
I mean, they are. They're the stormtroopers. It's crazy, though, right? You
I
can't
don't know
make
what you're
them look.
talking about.
You can't make them look so good in the like different things they're doing until it's time to shoot running away Tom Cruise, right? That's weird to me.
Especially when it's on a motorcycle.
Yeah, I mean,
There,
impossible to hit. Couldn't hit a guy on a motorcycle. That's the part that little drives me nuts. That's when I mentioned like the John Wick 007 type, you know, thing because it's like, come on, like these guys are great shots. They're military experts. You just showed them doing it, and now they can't hit them. That's kind of frustrating. I think you need to take away some of that action shoot 'em up and make Tom Cruise a little smarter and more versatile to where he's not just dodging bullets on
what are you talking about? He slid and off the bike, turned the bike around and shot at the car at the gas tank and it blew up. How
right
much smarter do you have to get, dude?
because the guys couldn't shoot him while he was doing that kick turn on slide out on the bike, dude. Come on, man. So that's for me that would be the bad, but it's still a good movie. Like it was also maybe it's the only reason I only saw it once, but it's good to go back and watch it again. So three good movie reviews there. I like the difference and going into different genres. So what we really want to hear next time, any comments, movie reviews you have for us, what you want to hear. But yeah, we'll wrap it up there. Some great segments. Hit the movie entertainment, hit the NCAA March Madness tournament, which we'll give you update on next week. And of course, NFL ongoing, get more in the draft. So don't forget to subscribe and like. Don't forget to leave comments. What do you want to hear? And we'll get on those. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.